Welcome, everyone. Today's lesson, we are going to have a look at writing task 2. Now, for academic students as well as general students, the writing task 2 remains the same. In the sense, it is an essay question that you have to write. The only difference is, you could write in a more neutral tone for the general IELTS, but for academic, you really can't do that, right? You could, it's not wrong, but we tend not to do it. However, there is not much of a difference in terms of the writing structure and everything else. So, we will teach academic and general's writing task 2 together. So, even if you are doing general, even if you are doing academic IELTS, this session, all of you can follow. So, let us have a look at the type of question. As I told you, you are going to get an essay question to write. And it could be presented with any topic. It could be about traveling, it could be about tourism, it could be about the internet, it could technology, any topic. Remember, it's not a topic that would be really difficult and you don't need extra knowledge to write it, but it's a topic that any of us could usually write, okay? So, there are 5 types of essays and the most common type is opinion, or some people call it argumentative style essays. Secondly, we have the discussion style essay. We have the advantage or the disadvantage style essay, direct questions, and then we have the cause and solution type of essay. So, let's have a look at the next bit. Now, the essay tests your ability to respond by justifying and giving your opinion. Okay, so if you say, yes, I agree with something, okay, you have to justify as to why you agree. So, let's take an example. The internet does more harm than good. Do you agree or disagree? So, some of you can agree and say, yes, the internet does more harm. Okay, you have to justify as to why you say it does more harm. Example, you can say it's a time wasting, it wastes a lot of time. The next thing is, even though you do online shopping, you could get hacked. Okay, so people can take your personal details. So on and so forth. People don't communicate with other people when they're on the internet. Okay, so it has more disadvantages. When you are giving your opinion, you need to justify it. However, some of the other people can say, no, it does not do harm, it does good. You can keep in touch with your friends, you can do online shopping, it saves a lot of time, right? So if you say, no, it's not bad, it's good, then you need to justify and tell us why you say it's good. The next one would be to discuss the topic, right? So you need to discuss both sides sometimes. Some people can say the government should spend more money on the healthcare sector, whereas the others say it should be spent more on tourism. Discuss both views. So, is healthcare better or is tourism better? It could also be integrated with your opinion, okay? Where discuss both sides and give your opinion. So, one style is you need to give your opinion and justify it. Another one could be how well you can discuss the topic. Another one could be to summarize the details. So whatever you write in your essay, when we do the structure, I'll teach you in the conclusion, which is the last paragraph, you would be summarizing the details that you have written in your essay. So it tests your ability as to how well you can summarize. Outlining problems, right? So when you have cause and solution, what are the problems? Okay, so outlining problems, identifying possible solutions. So if this is what caused it, okay? If this is what is problematic, then how could you solve it? What are the solutions, okay? Supporting what you write with the reasons, arguments, and relevant examples. Okay, let me just change the color of it. Black, you might not be able to see it. The relevant examples from your knowledge and experience. So when you are writing your essay, you could bring out reasons, arguments, and relevant examples, okay? It could be from your own personal experience or knowledge. Now, how many minutes should you take for your essay? You need to take 40 minutes. Now, some students ask me, Miss, can we take a little bit more time because I take more time to write? No, okay? Time guidelines are given so that you stick to the time. If you are to get a good score, you need to make sure you spend 20 minutes on task 1 and then 40 minutes on task 2. Now later on, I'll tell you how to do this, but let me just give you a quick heads up, right? When we are doing the essay, I'll be teaching this again. That's okay, I'll give you a heads up here. Now when you take the 40 minutes, should you be writing for the entire 40 minutes? No. You need to have a time plan. What I tell my students is take 2 minutes to read the question. Now it's just not reading, you need to paraphrase the question. I'll come to all of this again when we are doing intro, body and conclusion. There's a lesson on that, okay? But just keep this in your mind so that when we are doing that lesson, you will remember she told us this, right? So read the question. Make sure you understand how many parts are there for you to answer. Now for an example, when they tell you, discuss both views and give your opinion. That means you need to discuss view 1, you need to discuss view 2, and you need to give your opinion. So you need to answer 3 parts, okay? Rather, there are 3 things for you to answer. So read the question, make sure you underline and see, okay, how many parts are there for me to answer? And then which words can I change when you have to paraphrase the question, okay? So think about that as well and take 2 minutes. The next 3 minutes, plan your answer. When I say plan your answer, you should be able to have a little mind map drawn. Okay? So you still don't know the parts of the essay. So let me tell you that this is the topic. Okay? Then you kind of have a little mind map. Intro, body 1, body 2, conclusion. So you know now the essay has 3 main parts: introduction, body and conclusion. Okay? So here you jot down in bullet points. Okay? So the internet does more harm than good. I don't agree. Disagree. Why? Keep in touch. Why should we keep in touch? We can share photos, talk, share. Next, why is it not bad? Because organizations, business, online, saving. Can you see I'm not writing complete sentences, but I'm just writing bullet points. The examiner does not need to understand this. You need to be able to understand this. So you just make yourself a little plan. Once you do that, you write for 30 minutes. And the last 5 minutes proofread. When you are proofreading, you're just not reading something just for the sake of reading it. You're looking for spelling, you're looking for punctuation, you're looking for grammar errors, and you're also looking for vocabulary. Okay? So, that's why you should have a 40-minute time plan. So, you have 5 minutes here, then 30 minutes here, 35 and 5, 40 minutes. So, you need to have a plan. Do not use more than 40 minutes to do your task 2. Another question students ask me is, Miss, should I do task 1 first or should I do task 2 first? That is your choice. My strong advice is do task 1 and then do task 2. Because most students, when they go to do task 2, they get carried away with the time and in the end, they run out of time. So let's stick to the time limits. Do task 1 first and then do task 2. But saying so, there is no harm if you do task 2 first. This is just my personal experience that I'm sharing it with you, right? Next one, number of words. There should be a minimum of 250. Oops, right? A minimum of 250. Now, there's no maximum limit, but I would like you to keep something in mind. So, about 250 to about 300 words. Okay, so that you don't write too much. Okay, it's within the word range and it is something achievable within 40 minutes. All numbers, dates and time are counted as 1. Now what happens is here you wouldn't be writing anything as dates. I mean, you could, for an example, if you're talking about an example in 1999 or something, if you do write any numbers, it is considered as a word. Okay. Small words will also be counted, for an example, and in on they're counted as a word. Hyphenated words are counted as one word, okay? When you say daughter-in-law, it's hyphenated. It's considered as one word. Compound nouns, words that go together. So these are two nouns that go together, okay? They are counted as one. So example, black and board, put together blackboard, it's considered as one word. So compound nouns are considered as one word. Contractions are counted as one, but remember we tend to avoid using contractions as much as possible when we are writing our essay. Repeated words will be counted. Example, the dog ran into the house carrying the bone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just because we counted the here, it doesn't mean we don't count it here. Okay? Repeated words are counted. All words in brackets are counted. So some students tend to put something in brackets. That is also counted as a word. Symbols with numbers are not counted. Okay, so any symbols with numbers, it's not counted as a word, it's counted as a number. In part 2, of course, we don't tend to write, but some students tend to write like a survey conducted 60% of the paper. So if you do that, then of course, it's a number, but tend not to write any numbers there. Sentences and paragraphs. You cannot write bullet points. You must write everything in full. Okay. Ideally, you should have about 4 to 5 paras. Let me show you how it is, right? How does this 4 to 5 come? So, you have the intro, which is named as the introduction. here we have the introduction, which is the first para. Then we have the body paragraph. You have body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, right? Second and third paras, and then you have the conclusion, which is the fourth paragraph. But saying so, sometimes you could have another body paragraph. So you have the introduction, then you have body para 1, body para 2, body para 3, and then you have the conclusion. So here you have the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one, right? That is why it tells you here that ideally it is 4 to 5 paragraphs, 1 introductory para, 2 to 3 supporting, or we call those body paragraphs. Finally, you have the concluding paragraph. Then the style of writing is formal for both academic and general. Note that general essay questions are often easier and the topics are a bit simpler than the academic essay topics. That's like a difference that you get. The score is basically 66% because task 1 is roughly around 33%. This is roughly around 66%, right? Right, so moving on, how are band scores awarded, right? Just not for the academic component, but also for general component. When I say academic writing, it means for general as well as academic students, we follow the academic style of writing, okay? So, task response is awarded 25%. Coherence and cohesion again is 25%. Lexical resource is also 25%. Grammatical range and accuracy again is 25%. So when I say task achievement, what do we mean by that? Okay, it means that you should meet the minimum number of words and you should answer the question. For an example, if they ask you, do you agree? Then you must give your opinion and justify your opinion. So that is what task response means. Coherence and cohesion is the use of linkers to ensure that your answer is linked to one another. Not just linked from one paragraph to another paragraph, but also linked within the paragraph. So use of linkers. Lexical resource is the use of vocabulary. So it's not just only the use, we're looking at two things, range as well as accuracy, right? Use of collocations is also important here. The last one is grammatical range and accuracy. Again, you have two aspects here. The range as well as whatever sentence pattern you're using, is it accurate? So your task 2 is going to be marked on these 4 criteria. Let's have a look at the band descriptors. This is a public version and anyone can have a look at it, right? So you have it from 0 to 9. So all of us are having a look at a 7 upwards, right, or a 6 upwards. So let me go through the 6 and upwards first. Now, some students ask me, Miss, there's 6 here, there's 7 here, why 6.5? 6.5 is you've achieved everything of 6 and some positive features of 7. But you haven't got everything of 7. So therefore you get a 6.5. You've got everything, all of 6 and some positive features of 7. So let's have a look at band descriptor 6, right? A band 6 and what are the descriptors given? So if you've got a 6, you address all parts of the task, although some may not be covered fully. You still present a relevant position, right? Although the conclusion sometimes may be unclear. You present relevant main ideas, but some may be inadequate. But you've got the structure. Coherence and cohesion is where you arrange this information in a logical structure and there's clear progression. So you write the intro, then you write the body, then another body and the conclusion. You don't have the intro, conclusion and body then. It's not messy. There's a clear progression in your essay. You use cohesive devices, linkers, right, to ensure that you link your ideas. You may not always use referencing clearly or appropriately. You can use referencing, okay, to refer back to something, so that's fine. But you have to make sure you use it appropriately and where necessary. Use paraphrasing, very, very important, but it's not always logical. So try getting it logically correct. Lexical resources, you use adequate range of language, right? And you use vocabulary, less common vocabulary, and you have some errors in spelling and word formation, but it does not impede the communication. Grammatical sentence structures means here you use simple and complex sentence structures. It's a mix, right? So mostly you're using simple, it's perfectly fine, and you are also trying to use complex sentences. It's a mix of what you're trying to do. You make some errors in grammar and punctuation, but they rarely reduce the communication. It does not, take away us from the meaning. The reader can understand what you're trying to say, so it does not reduce the communication. Whereas if you are getting a 7, there's a big jump. So some students tell me, Miss, I got a 6. I just need a little more to get a 7. I got a 6.5. I need 0.5 to get a 7. So can I do it in 3 days, 4 days? It's not possible. It's not, as you see, mathematically just a 0.5. It means a lot of skills. The jump from 6 to 7 is a big jump. Addresses all parts of the task, okay? So there's nothing to say you haven't done, you've done everything. You present a clear position and you present and support your ideas, but you might tend to overgeneralize it and support it by using examples, right? Sometimes you might not use enough supporting ideas to support your view, so that is also a problem and you might get a 7. Here you logically organize the information, clear progression is there. You use a range of cohesive devices, sometimes maybe over or underused, right? You present a clear central topic within each paragraph. I'll teach you when I'm doing paragraph writing, but remember, when you're writing a paragraph, you must have a clear topic sentence. The topic sentence is the very first sentence that you write in a paragraph. For an example, if I start the paragraph by saying, there are many advantages using the internet, I'm only going to talk about the advantages in that para. It has only one clear idea and each para will have one idea only. Lexical resource is that you use a sufficient range, you use less common lexical resources, and you're able to use collocations. You may produce occasional errors, but it's not so bad, okay? It's not some errors, but occasional errors. So you can see, we don't tell you that you should be error-free. You've got Here you have occasional errors, okay? And here you have some errors, some occasionally rare minor errors. So it becomes less and less as you go up the ladder. But it doesn't tell you that you're going to be zero. You're going to be error-free, okay? So when it comes to grammar, you have a variety of complex. Now, simple has gone. It means that you're obviously doing simple well, but you're writing a variety of complex sentence structures. You produce frequent error-free sentences. Here, make some errors in grammar, okay? But here, you're writing frequent error-free sentences. Has good control of grammar and punctuation with a few errors. Okay? So that's what it is in a Band 7 answer. So for you to jump from a 6 to a 7 is a big, big jump. So just, Miss, I just need 1.5. That's not what you actually need. You need a lot of more skills to jump that hurdle. Okay? Looking at an 8, you sufficiently address all the parts of the task and you present a well-developed response. You have your ideas sequenced out and logically arranged. You manage all aspects of cohesion well using paragraphing sufficiently. So paragraph style writing, you do it properly. You use a wide range of vocab. You you write fluently and flexibly, right? You use uncommon lexical items. You produce rare spelling errors and word formation. When it comes to the grammar, not variety, but a wide range of sentence structures, and majority of them are error-free, and you only make occasional errors. Right. So moving on to the next one. Band 9 is the best one that you could get. You fully address all the parts of the task. You fully develop the answer and you fully extend and support your ideas. You use cohesion in such a way that it attracts no attention. You skillfully manage paragraphing. You use a wide range, use some natural and sophisticated language features or lexical features. Rare and minor errors, they are rather known as slips. Here also you use a wide range with flexibility and accuracy, right? You've got only rare minor errors. So this is from a 6 to a 7, 7 to 8, 8 to a 9, okay? So the jumps are quite high, okay? So you have here from 0 to 5, I'd like you to pause the video for some time and go through it. Now it's quite self-explanatory. Take a few minutes and have a look at the band descriptors. So having a look at it, 5 of course means that you're partially answering the task, right? You try to express a position but not very clear, okay? You present some main ideas but again it's not fully developed, right? You present some kind of organization but there's lack in progression, right? You are it's inadequate, inaccurate, okay? Some cohesive devices, repetition is there, okay? And paragraphing, the paragraphs are not adequate or the style is not appropriate. Here you use a limited range of vocab, okay? And you make noticeable errors as well. So that's not very good. The next one, in terms of grammar, you have a limited range, okay? You attempt complex, but it's less accurate than the simple ones. 4, of course, you respond to the task in a very minimal manner. You present a position, but it's not clear again, right? You present ideas, but they're repetitive or irrelevant. When we have a look at coherence and cohesion, right, here as well, it is not arranged properly. There's no clear progression, and then cohesive devices might be inaccurate. So even the basic ones, like and, but, because, basic ones, right? You use basic vocab and tends to be repetitive. Limited control of word formation and spelling errors may cause problems for the reader to read and understand as to what you're talking about. Grammar, you use a very limited range structures, right? And rare use of subordinate clauses, and punctuation is often faulty. So below that, I think 3, 2 and 1, none of us really need that score, right? Why I did 4 and 5 is some students need only 4.5, 5.5 or 5, that's why I've done that. But I've not come across students who need 1, 2 or 3, okay? So you might get this because you're really, really weak in terms of the language. 0 basically means you did not attempt, you did not attend or attempt in any way, okay? Or you totally write something which is memorized. So moving on, how can I calculate my score? So separate band scores are given for each marking criteria, and in the end, it will be divided by 4. So you add up everything and you divide by 4, right? So when we say we have a look at the total for each criteria and then we divide it by the total, let's have a look at an example. Let's say task achievement, we get 6. Coherence and cohesion, we get 7. Lexical resource, we get 6. Grammar, we get 6. Okay. So what we do here is we add up everything, right? So to find your score, we add 6 plus 7 plus 6 plus 6, okay? So 6, 12, 18, 18 plus 7, 25, and then we divide it by 4. So 25 divided by 4 is 6.25. So 6.25 will be rounded off to 6.5, okay? That's how you find your score for each task. Now coming to the next bit, right? Will I get the same score for task 1 and task 2? Not really. Usually task 1 is around 30% and task 2 is about 40%, roughly you can say 40-60, right? So the two tasks are marked individually. And how is the IELTS scoring done? Okay, so say for band descriptor 1 you have 8. For the task 2 you have a band descriptor of 6. So 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So you get a writing score of roughly 7 for task 2. Will IELTS tell me my score for task 1 and task 2? No, they only send you the final score. So for writing, what is your score? For reading, what is your score? For listening, what is your score? And for speaking, what is your score? They don't tell you individual breakdowns. Right. Can I have one body paragraph? Lots of students ask me, no, you can't. You need to at least have 2 minimum body paragraphs, okay? So you can't have one. You are being assessed on your ability to separate ideas into different body paragraphs. So you need to make sure that you have one central idea to support it, okay? Can I have 4 or 5 body paragraphs? It's not advisable, so I'm just going to say no. You must plan and extend your main points in a way that each body paragraph contains enough supporting points. So what I would say is about 2 to 3 max to max body paras. Nothing less than that, nothing more than that. So moving on, right? Do I get a penalty for writing under the word count? Yes, you do, right? If you don't meet the minimum requirement of 250, if you don't write above 250, you will get a lower score. Do I get penalty for writing too much? Well, not really, because there's no upper limit. However, this will not get you a better mark either, okay? Because when you write too much, you're exposing yourself to too much of grammar, language, okay? So stick to the range that I gave you, 250 about 300. As I told you at the start, there was no upper limit. It's just that something I said so that you know where to start and where to stop. Are there any other things which would affect my score? Well, partially attempted answers, it will be a problem. If you fail to answer the whole score roughly, you'll not get anything above 5, okay? Illegible handwriting, if the examiner has trouble reading your handwriting, again, your band score will seriously be affected. Memorize answers, it could at least or sometimes result you in a 0 band score. Nearly coming to the end, what is the difference between paper-based and computer-based? Well, the answer really is there's not much of a difference. The paper-based one, obviously the answer is written on a paper. Let me show you how the paper looks like. It's something like this. And we put the score right here. I'm not sure if you can see it very clearly, but you have TR, okay, task relevancy, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and then grammar, okay, and then any penalty is given. So you have examiner 1, examiner 2, 2 examiners are marking it, okay, and here's how it looks like if you're doing your paper-based. If you're doing the computer-based, right, so what you do is you type in your answer on a computer. So if you prefer to type, you can type at speed. You're good in typing, then please use the computer-based facility. And it's kind of the best way to take IELTS at the moment. It allows you to cut, copy, and paste words as well, okay? However, you will be given a paper and pen so you can use it to plan your answer. It's not to write the answer, it's just to plan. Remember, I drew a little mind map. It's to draw something like that. The examination is completed on the same day for both paper and computer-based formats, okay? So the same things are done on the same day. If you're doing computer-based, then there are computer-based exams as well as paper-based exams happening on the same day. Right, so I think with that, we have come to the end of our lesson, which was introducing to you task 2. Let me give you a quick recap. So task 2, for academic students as well as general students, it's the same. In the sense, academic students would get a little bit more difficult kind of essay. The general students would tend to get an easier topic, right? The word count minimum is 250. IELTS has not set a maximum limit for you, but because we teach you and train you to do IELTS, we say, okay, roughly 250 to about 300 words. You have to use 40 minutes out of your entire 60 minutes to do task 2. You've been marked on 4 criterias: task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammar. The type of task that you're going to get for this writing task 2 is an essay. So there are 5 types of essays. You have opinion or argumentative style essays. You have discussion essays. You have advantage or disadvantage style essays. You have cause and solution type of essays. And then you have the direct question essays. So out of the 5, you will get only 1 type or maybe a mix, but it's only 1 essay question, okay? But the types could be mixed. For an example, discuss both sides and give your opinion. So discussion plus opinion. Now don't worry, the different types of essays is what we're going to do in the next few lessons, okay? But this lesson was done for you to understand what are we looking at and what are the common questions that most students have, so that we could give those answers to you in case you have the same questions. But if not, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comment box so we could answer you. And we're also hoping to start some live sessions, so that will also help you to then ask us questions and interact with us. So with that, we come to the end of the lesson, Academic and General Writing Task 2.